All right. Lost in Orbit, episode 2. Wait, are we? We're blurry. Okay. Episode 2, Lost in Orbit, action. All right. This month, I would like to talk about the actual darkness and how hard it truly is to heal, and whether that be healing internally or a spiritual journey for yourself. On social media, I feel like it's portrayed as this very easy, you just wake up and love yourself, and everything's just so dandy. And I feel like a lot of creators don't touch on how truly dark it is, like the dark nights of the souls, the depression, like what you really do face to get through, and how honestly strong and what warriors people that do heal are. I think is crazy, but you go through to heal internally, and so many people are not even aware of that, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people that do go through it and have like a platform for mental health, I feel like they don't really want to show those dark sides either, because they are like dark and they're not fun to go through. So like for them to be that vulnerable too, it takes a lot of vulnerability.
Yeah,
but then it's portrayed to the public as like, oh, like, I did this work on healing and it was all like mindfulness and meditation and going outside and stuff like
kind
that,
of propaganda.
which is all great. That's great stuff to do, but it's like that's not everything that it encompasses.
Exactly. It's almost like a business scheme, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Especially if they're promoting and like selling those sort of things. I think that there are also some amazing creators out there that do get deep and dark with it, and I just want to be as authentic as I possibly can be through this journey, and I know you are the same way. So I just thought this would be a really cool second episode, because it isn't all, oh, you just wake up and love yourself. And I tried that for like a few years, and y'all saw that it doesn't work. You can't do that. You have to actually go through and face those traumas or those things you've been suppressing your whole life because you were taught to do so. And so you try not to think about them, but you have this feeling and this dread and all of this, and you're not even putting two and two together that it's all that suppression that you've been doing from trauma or hurt or pain. This is Ashera, newest member of the family. Fun little fact, I intended to name her Ashara after goddess that was removed from the Bible, but I spelt it Ashera, and it actually means good fortune and wealth on its way to you, so it was a lovely little surprise.
Yeah.
And she has the third eye dot, and that's pretty rad.
Yes.
Sorry.
She's perfect.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I kind of cut off right now. She distracted me. But I think there are so many people out there that don't even know how to even begin to try to address that, or even look at it, or what that looks like, because that's certainly where I was in my life. So I hope we can help people kind of get to that, whether it just be the very beginning. I personally think that healing and spirituality go hand in hand, but I don't think that that's necessary, and I don't think that there's any certain way you have to heal. I think our goal is just to kind of be authentic about what healing is.
Yeah, not try to portray it as like rainbows and butterflies and like, oh, we did this and we did that and I wrote in a journal and I meditated. No, I cried a lot.
Yeah,
I cried a lot of crying.
A lot.
A lot of crying, a lot of like panic, deep panic too, like just not, and I know where my life is going. My life is going pretty well, but like there's a lot of that like confusion and not knowing and uncertainty and panic that happens internally too.
Exactly.
It's super uncomfortable.
And it is, and that's the whole point, is being uncomfortable and learning things, and even how, no matter how dark it was, there is something to learn from it. And I don't mean to disrespect anybody that's been through hardcore trauma. I have been myself, but there is something to learn there, even if it was horrific. And I'm stealing this from my therapist, but he told me, he was like, imagine you're going in to watch a movie and your protagonist. I used to know that word before we started recording. Um, and imagine that protagonist had no antagonist. That movie would suck. There would be no growth. There would be no character development. There would be no, climax or whatever. I'm a teenage boy, so I didn't want to say that word at heart. But without our hardships, and then learning to appreciate those hardships, just I think that that is one of the most beautiful things that a human can do for themselves, and it is very very hard, but it's worth that work.
And I think that's a really good point too. Like the hard things that we go through, and like how they tear us down as a person, and how like we kind of go through this, like you said, the dark night of the soul, or like the deep depression, the anxiety, like all of that. We go through that, and as we go through that and come out of it, it kind of rebuilds us into more of who we are and who we're supposed to be, and shapes the way that we think about the world. So it's important to take those dark nights too and use them to shape your view of how you want to go moving forward.
Yeah, I think that's such a beautiful point. Because like for me personally, I have a lot of darkness. I came from a lot of darkness, a lot of anger. I have all those emotions, but I've learned how to manage them, and I actually am able to utilize them. So, it is challenging. It's not like always, but there are things in my darkness that, like, I have a lot of anger, rightfully so, from my life, but I use that to fuel me to like chase my passions. It doesn't necessarily have to control you in a negative way. Once you realize that your thoughts, you have the control of it, of your thoughts, of your darkness, of who you're going to be. What's that saying? The white wolf and the black wolf, whatever one you're going to feed it is the one that survives.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're going to not actually feed into the darkness, just understand that it's there and it's okay that it's there, then it becomes a lot easier to hold.
Yeah, I think that that's really important too. Like the dark moments are the moments that are meant to like help you grow. And it's up to you to do that too. Like you're gonna go through those dark times, and it's gonna be hard, and it's gonna be rough, and like you may go through them alone if that's how you feel you want to go through them. I know I do tend to go through them alone, and then I tend not to talk about them, and like that's a whole other issue in and of myself.
Yeah.
But taking that and being able to use it to like grow and become better and do better and make better choices, rather than using that darkness to then spiral and become worse and have more of a negative mindset in life. Like you need to be able to take that, the hard part of it, grow from it, and then be able to change through it.
Yes, I love that. I heard this quote today, or I read it, that said, "Hurt people don't only hurt people heal people." Because there is that group that when something bad happens to them, they allow it to turn them into what created them, a monster, whatever it might be. You know what I mean? I've actually been both. I teeter tottered. I'm glad to be on this side now. But there's the other half of people that are going to use that pain and decide they will never allow anyone to ever feel that way again if it's in their power, and they're going to use that to heal people. I remember from a young age, I've always, like anyone that knows me, I've always been very protective of kids, and I love kids. I've always been around kids. It was always me innately, not even realizing that I was protecting them, because when I was that small, I wasn't protected. So I have always been like just drawn to kids, making sure they're happy. If there's a birthday party, I'm like usually over there making sure there's no weirdo uncles. You never know. But I think that I've realized that stems from like that those two things were connected very recently, because I just was like, oh no, I have a passion for kids, and it's like, no, you have a passion for protecting kids.
Yeah. And you became the person who would have protected you as a kid, which is like super sweet. And it's beautiful. I love that quote too. But that's the quote that you read. I haven't heard it before.
I haven't
really
until
interesting.
Today.
Yeah. I definitely like that a lot, because that's true. You're either going to become the person who would have protected you as a kid, or you're going to become the person that hurts other kids because of
or said
people,
nothing and let it slide. And when you knew somebody was getting hurt or kid was getting hurt. Crazy. Yes. Yeah, I was actually just talking about that the other day because once I came out about this, like been more open about what I've been through. There's so many people that are like so proud of me and all of that. There's a lot of people that like don't believe me, but come on. Not all three kids come out that way for no reason. Just saying. But anyways, but there was a piece of me, an unhealed piece of me that wanted to be like, yeah, and you knew, and you never did anything. And although I still stand by that, that doesn't mean I'm gonna discredit the fact that they care and feel sorry for what I went through. I haven't been in that situation, but not that I think it's an excuse, but I was definitely from an unhealed part of myself, finding myself kind of resenting those people. Like, you knew the whole time. What do you? Oh, you're
Why
so
didn't
proud
you do
of me.
anything? Yeah.
Yeah, but and then there's the other side of me, the healed side, that's like, like they are only human. What were they gonna do? Like, and so it's also very normal to battle with your healed and unhealed side, or your darkness and your light and all of that, and kind of retrain your brain and remind yourself like, hey, that's not really my reality. Unless I choose to make it my reality, that and think that way, then yeah, it'll be your reality. But I think that people don't realize that, like, even people that look completely healed and like they've got it all together are still, probably maybe not daily, but frequently battling with their own brain still.
Yeah.
It's going to always be a thing. You don't ever finish healing.
Yeah. Yeah, you just make it through stages of that healing.
And healing is like this, it's a spiral up, and they're going to take you back to the same kind of situations to make sure you're not still dumb. So be careful.
Yeah.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
You're going to go through it again and again and again until you finally learn that.
It's like a spiral upwards. So when you're like, wait, I've been here before. Yes, but you're looking at it through new eyes.
Yes.
So make sure you keep those new eyes. Don't
Yes.
fall back into old patterns, because that's what will get you.
Yes. Yeah. And it will bring you back, and then you will have to start that stage over again, and probably
exactly.
Yeah.
It's really rewarding. Even though that was like 30 minutes of how rough it is still the best decision I ever made.
Yeah.
And it is probably literally my soulmates. I feel like I am surrounded by my soulmates. We are totally we grew up together.
Yeah.
And like the school our whole lives and all that.
Your
and, like,
families are connected.
And, yeah, like little things like that we never put together. And
Yeah.
we're almost 30. Wait, you just
I
turned
just turned
30.
30. Yeah.
And we're like, holy crap, we were made for each other.
Yeah.
And just like all of my friends in my life, I feel like I am attracting such great experiences, and then just people that just genuinely love me and care about me, which is what I feel like all of humanity is hungry for. And
Yeah.
just here to remind you, don't expect something beautiful like that if you can't do the work on yourself to be beautiful like that.
Yeah. That's a really good point.
Yeah, it sucked. It's a hard pill to swallow. I had to, and it was rough, but best decision I ever made.
Yeah, it really brings you to where you're supposed to be and the people that you're supposed to be. Because I think, like, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, me and you, we were not on the same part of that spiral.
Yeah, I don't think we would have even connected the same way, because we weren't at the same spots in our life as we are now.
Yeah. And
we just happened to be, I'm more of a God type person. She kind of teeters, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no, God planned it that way. It's like, there's a lot of people that you're going to keep spiraling with, and then all of a sudden you're going to realize, like, oh, we're made for each other. You're one of my people.
Yeah, like we actually click really well.
Yeah, we just weren't there yet. Now we're here, and it's like, oh, my soul feels at home. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful for you.
I
love it. So, where are we at? So when you are trying to relive trauma, I know how terrible and like what an ask that is. Not that I'm asking that of you, that is your own choice. But to relive it, and I had to do it like multiple times with each event, and I'm nowhere near guilt like at all. I'm just a lot farther than I used to be. But I had to keep kind of like purging it out and reliving the event over and over again until I got to the point where I could look at it from a place of compassion and detachment, where I wasn't still making myself the victim of the story. I made myself the survivor of the story. And I think that's what is really helping and changing things.
Yeah, that can make a huge change. The way that your perspective on what you're going through absolutely shapes the way you go through it.
Exactly. And I mean, my trying to heal and all this wouldn't have even been possible 5 years ago because my own limiting beliefs were in my way, and I let the way I was raised and those beliefs be instilled to me, which was a very sociopathic way. And so it was a really deep rooted kind of just craziness that I didn't even see how skewed my own vision was. Like I had no idea how my concept of reality was literally warped to somebody else's ideal reality. And I had to figure a way out of it, and I like wasn't even aware of it all of my life. I'm 30. I just woke up to it like 9 months ago and was like I like woke up from a coma, and it was like, what am I allowing to be done to me? Like, what the heck? That's crazy. But so that's my rant about trying to process real traumatic events instead of like something as whole, but just kind of trying to pinpoint an event and do that with it. That seems to help me a lot.
Yeah, and I think it's good to challenge your beliefs all the time too.
Yes,
like all the time. I have always challenged, like ever since I was a kid, I challenged beliefs of like everything. And as an adult now, I'm like, okay, what are my own beliefs that I need to challenge now? Like, what do I need to challenge that's going to make me a better person, a better mom, a better teacher? You know, like all of these beliefs that we have that we get stuck in, and I think that people get stuck in their beliefs and they don't challenge them enough. A lot of the time they'll look for confirmation bias, and that's a very human thing. We all look for confirmation bias for things that we believe, but we have to challenge it too. We have to do the opposite of confirmation bias, and we have to look at it and be like, okay, how could I be wrong? How could this view, this thought, this belief be wrong? Not what evidence do I have that I'm right?
Yeah.
What evidence do I have that I'm wrong?
Yeah. I love that, Rachel. That is a really good one. I think I subconsciously have started doing that, but I hadn't had it like put out in words, and that was beautiful. Yeah. I love that because it's also so true. And you are like, I'm a witness to how amazing you are at that. You are really good at challenging all sides and taking accountability. If you're like, oh wait, I didn't look at it this way, or however it is, you're like really beautiful. I've learned a lot from just watching you do it to like implement it into my own life.
Good. I'm glad I could help with that because it's hard. It's so hard. It's very hard to challenge your beliefs. It's uncomfortable. It's not what our brains want to do. We want to find things, and that's part of like our evolution and finding safety and like what do I have that like shows that I'm right and this is the right way. It's a survival instinct that we have, and we have to really work really hard to challenge those beliefs because we don't want to. We want to find things that are going to make them right.
Exactly. And then when others see somebody challenging those beliefs, they will start off supportive, but once they kind of see like, oh wait, maybe this person's successful, it's sadly kind of innate in humans to start like, oh, they suck, like their demons get irritated, and so they kind of look past the like, oh, look what this person did, and it's like they start comparing themselves instead of seeing somebody as like, that's awesome, that is proof that I can get there and I can do that. And so I don't know, I like to think of healing on the large scale as if I could heal so many people at one time, because it's like that. But the whole point is one person at a time, and I understand that, but I just feel like, because you're like, yes, this person's healing, and then it's like, oh, this one's trying to bring him down, Yeah. And then I don't know, my brain just is like, thinks about that. Like,
how can you raise all of them
up
at
like,
once at the same time?
All you have to do is like, you have what's meant for you is meant for you. Like, be happy for them.
Yeah. And that's like, in teaching too, they say, you can't save all students, and if you can help save one, then you've done done your job well, and not necessarily that we're there to save people, we're there to educate them.
Yeah.
You know, but if we play both roles too, like we play, the advocate for them, and we play the support, and we play like a guide for them too, because we're with them so long. But I used to tell new teachers all the time, because they get really discouraged. They're like, I just cannot get through to that kid. And like they would like beat themselves up and like go crazy over it. And I'm like, listen, you're not going to be able to get through to all of them. I didn't get my head out of my ass until after high school. Like, I don't expect all of my students to get theirs out of their ass either.
Yeah.
All I can do is be there for them and support them and help guide them the best I can. And it's up to them to make that decision. But if I can help guide and support one that actually accepts it and will like allow me to help them, then that's a success. Even just one is a success. And I've like done that with multiple, which is awesome, and I love it. But like even one is a success, and you can't go home and beat yourself up over the one that you couldn't.
Yeah, and that is so true. That's so funny. When I first started doing this, I had said I don't want 1,000 likes. I just want to touch 5 people's lives. Kind of the same concept, different thing, but I completely agree with you. As much as I do want to just like, that's what I want to do, but I know that that's not possible, and I do appreciate, being able to help a couple people here and there, and like have somebody reach out to you telling you like, you made me feel seen, and like which I'm sure you get as a teacher all the time. I'm not sure if you've gotten any from here yet, but I'm sure you will.
Yeah.
And it is such a beautiful feeling, and it's like your message is only going to reach and make sense to the people that they're meant to. There could be 1,000 people that are like, they're not even your people. They're not even who you're trying to reach. They're not there yet. Don't worry about them. Worry about the people that have been looking for you and your words their whole life.
Yeah. And don't sweat the ones who, you can't. Yeah. And they'll get there. They have their own timeline, their own pace that they're going to go through, and that's okay. But if we can help, at least a couple get through it, then that's a success, because it's hard. And just knowing that like you've had people who have gone through similar things to you, and come out the other side, and not necessarily come out the other side, because like you said, it's a constant like healing process. It is.
I feel like it's like a walk through fire. There is an other side. Yeah, you're gonna keep healing, but
you're not gonna be. It's not gonna be as intense as it was in that initial moment of like you actually accepting it and then feeling all of it, because it's gonna be really intense for a minute, but that does not last forever. It does not last forever. So yeah, I think that if we can just help guide a couple people through that.
I know, I'm really so appreciative of you coming on here and putting yourself out here like this with me, knowing I have no following, no nothing. I am so appreciative of you and your support for me and your willingness to do this, and I just love you. I appreciate you
too. I appreciate you even wanting to do this and like reach out to people, and like, because that's a lot of people won't do that kind of stuff. Even if they have gone through stuff that you've gone through, they'll go through it quietly, and like, I'm judging myself a little bit on that one.
God gave me a loud mouth for a reason. Now we know why. Took us my whole life to get here. Now we know what the loud mouth is for.
Yeah.
No, I'm actually, that's something I actually love about myself now, which is cool. I used to not have anything I love about myself, and I can like list so many things now, and I think that's rad. But one of them is my willingness to help people and put myself out there, even if it's scary and terrifying, and people are going to be like, you're crazy, internet lady, oh my gosh, and why would you do that? I am very proud of that. I feel very brave, and I'm going to own that.
Yeah. You've got a beautiful heart, and you want to share it, and I think that's really important.
Right back at you, baby.
Thanks.
I love you.
All sappy.
I know. You've got to keep that in there.
Yeah.
All right. That's probably time, Paul.
Yeah.
That was a good one.